Morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsyreplays. Welcome back to the channel. Now today we are going to have a look at the FV215B183. Yes, the Deathstar. We haven't had a look at this in a while, actually. The Deathstar was once upon a time the most played video that I used to have on the channel. I done quite a few videos of the Deathstar back in the day, and it was the video that pretty much got the most views on any Deathstar video that I did. Now the Deathstar has changed. It is the new Deathstar with the new turret and the new graphics, the new PBR files, and I do admit it looks okay. The PBR files looks really good, but I think the turret just looks hideous. I think it looks absolutely horrible. I definitely prefer the look of it as it was before. So yeah, I'm not a lover of the new turret, I'm afraid. So has it changed? Has the new HD models changed the tank? Has the new turret changed the way that the tank is played? Has it changed anything else about the tank? No. Absolutely not. It is literally the exact same as it was before. You can get a few bounces on that turret, but you could before anyway. You could get the troll bounces. You always could. It wasn't known to get the bounces, but it's always been one of those tanks that you can get troll bounces. Like, you're not aiming for the bounces, and it was literally luck if you do get the bounces, especially if you are hold down. The turret can be annoying, but it was never like amazing, and it never was, and it's never going to be. Now the tank itself is still not an amazing tank. It can be a fun tank to play, but it's one of those love-hate relationships with the Deathstar. Sometimes it can go your way, and sometimes it might not. It is literally all about RNG, and as you can just see there with the shot that this guy's just had on the Jaegeru, RNG is a big factor. You could aim at the easiest part and it could still just sort of miss. The aim time, the dispersion, they all suck. They all suck on this tank, and it is literally, sometimes it will hit, sometimes it won't. Sometimes you'll have these shots where you're just fully aimed in, and yeah, it just literally goes over to the next map. And other times you can just literally just fire and it will hit, and you're just like gobsmacked, like how the hell has that just hit that shot? Now the only good thing about the tank is the HESH. If you can get the HESH out, then you can do some big damage in this tank, and that is literally the only fun part about this tank. The tank itself is still one of the most played tanks in the game, and that is literally because of the alpha. That's the only reason why people play this tank, because of that because of the alpha and because of that HESH. Without that, this tank sucks, and the tank still does suck. It really does suck. People used to say that the tank is OP. I wouldn't say it's OP. I've never said it was OP. Yes, back in the day, before Wargaming took the camo values off the tank, you used to just be able to sit at the back of the map unspotted and just farm damage completely. But that's boring. That is boring. But yeah, it's not really like that. Since Wargaming nerfed the tank, you can't really do that. You get spotted from a mile away. But overall, I do like the change. I like the fact that they have added the new graphics to the tank. But yeah, I mean, that looks good. The tank like this with all the mud, all the dirt, does look good. I just think the turret looks a bit uglier, to be honest. I don't think it looks great. But you can have some fun in the tank. If you haven't played the Deathstar, like, where have you been for the last 7-8 years? So you can have fun in the Deathstar, but it is one of those tanks where it is also one of the most frustrating tanks in the game, especially if things don't go your way and RNG is just not on your side. It can be the most frustrating tank in the game to play. It really is. Nice ammo rack there. Of course you can, but with the alpha of the tank, with the caliber of the tank, you can pick up those ammo racks quite easily. And yeah, overall, it's always going to be a popular tank, unless Wargaming some reason nerf the alpha. It's always going to be a popular tank to play. How to play the tank? is a different matter. I mean, most people will just sit at the back of the map. Myself personally, I like to think outside the box. I don't like to really camp as much in the tank because it is boring. It is boring just to sort of sit at the back. I like to do things that people don't expect from a Deathstar, and that's because of the HESH, because of the HE. Really, you need to get around the enemy. You need to get behind them, or you need to get to the side of them. And only then you can sort of surprise the enemy. Sometimes you're only going to get the one shot off. Sometimes you will only be able to get one shot off on the tank, and that will be your game over. Because of the reload, 20 odd seconds reload is a long time. If you get rushed by a couple of mediums, like T62s, mediums with 3,500 DPM, you might only get that one shot off. And that's why I've always said that the tank is not OP, because it's one of the only tanks that you can only fire once. And if you don't hit that tank, if you don't hit that shot, then it could be completely game over for you. Now, this guy is going to get lucky. It's a 1 versus 1. He's still on 8,000 damage, and he can load up the HE. But the Leopard can also just clear him with the one shot. Now, it is slow. It's very, very slow as well. But I'm not surprised that this tank has always been one of the most played tanks in the game. But also, it is one of the worst performing tanks in the game, and it's been one of the worst performing tanks in the game for a very, very long time. Literally almost like since the beginning of the game, this has been one of the most underperforming tanks that there is. But people just see the tank as like, I want that tank, it can do 1,600 damage, I want the tank. And they just think that they're just going to roll up and do 7k damage, 8k damage, 9k damage just because of that HESH. They don't think about the reload, they don't think about the aim time, the dispersion, and they don't think that if you miss one shot, it could just be game over. That is all you could do. If you get caught out in the open, then you are literally dead meat. So if you are playing the tank, or if you've never played the tank and you are grinding it, do take your time with the tank. I mean, I know it is frustrating when you have a side shot into any tank and you've got the HESH loaded. Make sure you do take that time. Make sure the bloom goes all the way down, because it's more frustrating missing that the shot. Yes, sometimes, most of the time, it will be a miss. But at least if you wait for the aim time to go down, you've got more chance. And the best thing with the HESH, even though you might not fully pen, you're still going to do sort of 400 to 500 damage, even if you just do splash damage. Now, we're going to play this game. This is me with Droodles on my live stream the other day. And this is personally how I love to play this tank. We're just going to fast forward it a little bit. We're not going to go camping at the back. We're just going to push forward. And although that the tank is very frustrating to play, it is still a fun it can be a fun tank. When you do 1,500 damage in one shot, then you don't care. You don't care. If you can do one shot that's 1,500 damage, you don't really care about dying. And just think, all you really need to do to perform well is 2 shots. If you can get 2 HE shots, full HE shots out there, that's 3k damage or nearabouts. That's your job. That's still 3k average in tier 10, which is still pretty goddamn good. Most of my highest games has been in the Deathstar. My highest ever battle has been in a Deathstar, which was about 7,930, something like that, almost 8k, but not quite. And where I said the tank can be fun, it can be frustrating as well. And here is a perfect example with that. We're going to look at the Jaegeroo. Now, I'm going to rush my shot because I didn't want Droodles to get the first shot out. And you can see we're aiming. We only hit, I think, the side of the gun or the tracks, and we only done 500 damage. And that left 1,000 for Droodles, and that guy's gone. So if you are double tuning them, if you're doing double tune, make sure you do try and go for the same target, because that is so much fun. Like the side of a mouse, just both of you aiming at the same guy and seeing all of his hit points just vanish like that is mega fun. Now, this battle, my RNG, literally, I paid for some RNG this game, and it does pay off. So we're going to have 3 shots mainly. We're going to have, the first shot didn't count because that was shit. But the next 3 shots were just like RNG was on my side. So you see that shot there with the WZ, nice fire. The second shot here into the grill, 1,400, again, nice fire, 1,500. That's 3 shots that we've done, and we're averaging now 3.6 6k damage. So I don't even care at this point if I died, because we're still at 3.5k damage, but there is still quite a lot of hit points left to go. So we've had one fail shot, and then we've had 2 fires. We've had 2 fires. So if I'm able now to get one more HE shot, that's almost 5k damage in 4 shots. And that is what people want to play this tank for. That is why they want to play this tank. To be able to do 4 shots and 5k damage is absolutely insane. And look at this, side of a mouse, RNG please. We set them on fire and we do 1700 damage. So that is now 4 shots and 5,300 damage. That is averaging just over 1,000 damage per shot. And again, that is why people want to grind this tank. They look at that alpha and they want a piece of that, but they're not that good. They're not that good. And again, your RNG is not always on your side, and you have to bear that in mind when you're grinding the tank. When you're playing the tank, you're not always going to get these 1500 shots. Normally my HE RNG sucks. You could do 1600 damage, but my is normally like 1100. I normally always hit in sort of the lower end, but this game was a pretty nice game. We didn't camp at all, and the main thing I wanted to do that game is to get around the team, and we managed to do that, and because of that we managed to get 6.1k damage. Unfortunately, Droodles, they're not with an amazing game at 1500 damage, but it still can be a fun tank to play. It's always been one of those tanks. It's not amazing, it's not great, you can have fun in it, but most of the time you're not going to perform well in it. I've got more 0 damage games in this tank than I have in any other tank in the game, and that's just the reality. Sometimes you're going to miss your shots, and if you miss your shots, that could be game over. So with the new file, the new PBR file, the new look of the Deathstar, it really hasn't changed the tank at all. It looks different, the turret looks different, and that literally is it. It doesn't play any different, it doesn't perform any different. It can still get the troll bounces, and of course you can still get the troll misses and the troll splash damage in the HE, and it's always been like that, and I think it will forever be like that. So it's just one of those hate-love relationships with the Deathstar. One game RNG could be on your side, the next game you will miss literally everything that you shoot. So if you haven't done the line, if you haven't gone up the line, the whole line's completely different. I mean, well, to tier 9 and then you get to tier 10, this tank is completely different to the rest of the line, and people get bored of the line, to be honest, because they're all slow, but people want to play the Deathstar, and I do understand why, but unfortunately it just doesn't live up to its name. And it's still the worst performing tank in tier 10, and it has been for the last few years, and it will continue to do so because of the DPM, the alpha, the RNG, and yeah. So let me know if you haven't played the Deathstar. I mean, most people will play the Deathstar. It's one of the most played tanks in the game. But if you haven't, it's definitely worth grinding. It 100%, it is definitely worth grinding, because you can have some fun in the tank. But make sure you use the HE. It's all about the HE. And do things out of the box, you know. Don't just go to the corner of the map and farm. Do things that you think that the enemy won't expect. There's nothing more scarier in a medium tank where you're thinking you're going to come up against another medium, and all of a sudden there's a Deathstar in your face. It's scary for them, it really is. So try it, do something different, do something out of the box, and you may just perform well in the tank. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I'm Meadsy, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye bye.